Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So according to Dan Bollon, Manchester United will make a move for Raphael Varane next summer. Now, Raphael Varane has been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. I think he's been there now for over 9 years. He has made over 300 appearances in all competitions and he's won around 18 major honours. Now he's still got a contract with Real Madrid until 2022. Real Madrid did get him from Lens back in 2011. I think they got him for just 10 million euros. He is only the age of 27, still got a lot of development in him. And he's predominantly a centre-half. And don't forget, Manchester United do need a centre-half because we need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. Because we have got a lot of centre-halves in our team. You've obviously got Harry Maguire. You've got Eric Bay. But my element of concern about him is too injury-prone. Obviously, we've got Victor Lindelof. But I don't think Victor Lindelof's good enough to represent Manchester United. There's obviously other centre-halves we've got that we are looking to offload. We've got Jones, Rojo, Axel Tuanzebe as well. I think it says we are willing to pay around £90 million for Raphael Varane. We've inquired about his availability before. It's possible that there could be a swap deal on the agenda. Raphael Varane to Manchester United and Paul Pogba to Real Madrid. Now, don't forget, last week, Paul Pogba had come out and made an admission saying that his dream is to move to Real Madrid one day. So he basically wants to join Real Madrid. It's the second time he's publicly admitted that he, wants to go to Real Madrid, because last year, Paul Pogba was talking a lot about Real Madrid and he was talking about, Zinedine Zidane. Paul Pogba said last year that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge. There's a lot of uncertainty regarding Paul Pogba's future. There's obviously been narratives of him possibly going back to Juventus because he did endure 4 good years with Juventus. The vast majority of his performances at Manchester United have been totally comparison to his ones at Juventus. This is Paul Pogba's 5th season at Manchester United since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. We paid £89 million for him, so as it stands at the moment, Paul Pogba is our most expensive signing. He's got around a year left on his current contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. By the way, there's been no talks, over getting Paul Pogba a new contract at the club. Pogba's agent Mini Raiola did say before we kicked off our season that he wants to stay at Manchester United this summer, Pogba, and he will hold talks over a new contract. We was critical of his agent Mini Raiola at the turn of the year. Main explanation is because he publicly criticised Solsjaer and Manchester United. And I do think that Paul Pogba has had an abysmal start to this season. I think he's had some good periods as a Manchester United player. He did well towards the end of last season. His combination with Bruno Fernandes was very, very good. I think he did well in that 3-month period when Solsjaer was temporary boss. But prior to that, hasn't really made much of an impact. For the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on Pogba because he was out with that ankle injury. But he has sustained a few injuries as a Manchester United player. Pogba endured a very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era, so too did all our top players. Shaw endured a bad time under him, Martial did, Marcus Rashford did. We had Paul Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, but obviously we had to let him go due to limited appearances. He's won 2 trophies at the football club so far, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. He has made over 100 appearances for Man United in all competitions since he rejoined, and he is the age of 27. So that's the breaking news on that. Now, I think Manchester United should give the captaincy to Bruno Fernandes. You know, there's a lot of Manchester United fans demanding for Bruno Fernandes to be given the captaincy. Because Bruno Fernandes shows fantastic leadership in the team. You know, Bruno Fernandes has been at Manchester United now for almost a year, because we got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January in a deal worth around £55 million. Reflecting on his good run of performances, he won some Matt Busby Player of the Season last season, and I think he must have won Premier League Player of the Month around 3 times. Bruno Fernandes, a lot of his goals have come from the penalty spot. This is why I know people call him Fernandes instead of Fernandes. But he's definitely one of the best signings Man United have made since Ferguson retired, and he's probably the best signing we have made under the Ole Gunnar Solsjaer era. Our current captain at the moment is Harry Maguire, and we did make a bad mistake by giving Harry Maguire the captaincy. We give him the captaincy reflecting on Ashley Young's departure back in January. But Harry Maguire is not good enough to captain the team because he doesn't show good leadership, does he? This is Harry Maguire's second season at Manchester United, and he's enjoyed a very poor start to the season. You know, last season was his first season at the football club. We overpaid for Harry Maguire because we got him in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester last summer. So as it stands at the moment, he's the most expensive centre-half in the world, and he's the second most expensive signing at the football club, just behind Paul Pogba. So that is the breaking news on him. So for the game against Newcastle at the weekend, I'm hoping to see Bruno Fernandes, you know, wearing the captain's armband. Now, Manchester United could offload 5 more players before deadline. Now, we're obviously looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard. He's one of the players looking to get rid of. Like he updated you last week, this was stemming from Rob Dawson from ESPN. He said that Porto were interested in getting Jesse Lingard on a season-long loan. A few weeks ago, it mentioned that Tottenham were interested in him because Jose Mourinho's keen on a reunion with the player. Because to be fair, Lingard had a good spell, you know, when we had Jose Mourinho. He says a few weeks ago, Tottenham were preparing to pay around £30 million for him. I think Zenit St Petersburg have been interested in him before. Solsjaer said before that he wants Lingard to stay at the club, you know, because Lingard has been part of the club for several years. He's been at Manchester United since 2000. He was in our youth set up until 2011, and since 2011 he's been in our senior squad. Lingard's got just under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Don't forget there was a period when he went without a goal or an assist in the Premier League for over a year. Lingard at the football club has won the FA Cup, the Europa League, the EFL Cup and the Charity Shield, and he scored in 3 of those finals. And I think he's, 27 or 28 years of age. Marcus Rojo, he's another player that Manchester United are looking to offload. Rojo's never really established himself as a first-team regular since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon. I think we paid around £16 million for Rojo. He's enjoyed a good 5 years or so now at the club. I think he must have made around 122 appearances for us in all competitions. I think his contract with us expires next year. Don't forget last season Rojo was out on loan with Estudiantes, and Rojo's one of the players that hasn't been included in the 25-man Champions League squad. He's been left out as Rojo. Phil Jones, he's another player that Manchester United are looking to offload. Phil Jones is very, very inconsistent. I think this season's his 10th season at the club. I think he's been injured or he's still currently injured. We paid just over £16 million for Phil Jones, didn't we, from Blackburn back in, 2011 or was it 2012? Sergio Romero, he's also open to leaving the football club because Sergio Romero is now our third choice goalkeeper, isn't he? Sergio Romero won't want to stay at Manchester United's third choice. Haven't read up about Romero recently. Yeah, just like Rojo and Jones, Romero's not been included in the 25-man squad for the Champions League. Romero's endured 5 years with Manchester United, something like that. We got him on a free from San Pandora back in 2015. The likes of Villa, Everton, Leeds have all been interested in him. It said a few weeks ago that Valencia were also in for Sergio Romero. Don't forget, there was rumours of Daniel James leaving Manchester United during the summer transfer window. Towards the end of the summer transfer window, Solsjaer made an admission saying that he was prepared to sell Daniel James for around £25 million, but the board disagreed over this transfer plan. Leeds have obviously been in for Daniel James. Don't forget, back in January 2019, Leeds came very, very close to getting him, didn't they? From Swansea. But we got him in June last year, didn't we? We got him for around £18 million. He signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United, didn't he? So there you go. Now, should Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stay at Manchester United or should he go? This is a debate. Now, there's a lot of Manchester United fans that are very convinced that he will be sacked. Not at this present time, but I don't think it will be long. But on the other hand, though, there's a lot of Manchester United fans that don't want him sacked, obviously. Because at the end of the day, he's a club legend. He was a great player for the football club for 11 years. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. But I just don't think he's good enough as a manager to succeed. He's not good enough. Because he hasn't got that proven pedigree. Manchester United is the third club in his managerial career. And he's managed around 94, 95 games now for Manchester United. He's won over 50 games as Manchester United manager. Obviously, before he was with us, he was at Molde. Won a few Norwegian titles with Molde. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. He endured a very short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. And Ed Woodward came out yesterday, didn't he, and said that he's prepared to sack Solskjaer if our poor run of form continues. We've endured a really bad start to this season. We've already lost 2 of our 3 opening league games. And both of them defeats have come at Old Trafford. And it's the first time we've lost our opening 2 home league games in 34 years. So we lost our opening game against Crystal Palace by 3-1. That was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995. And we also recently lost to Tottenham by 6-1. That was our heaviest defeat since the Alex Ferguson era. And it was the first time we'd lost 6-1 since Manchester City back in 2011, which is over 9 years ago now. And to be honest with you, we was lucky to beat Brighton in the league. It was 3-2, but in reality, that game should have ended 2-2. Probably the best game we've enjoyed so far this season was the 3-0 win against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. So Solskjaer is aware of how much pressure he is under. Obviously, this is his second full season at the football club. And I was saying before we kicked off this season, what would represent a good season for Manchester United, and that would be to finish in the top 4. maybe finish in the top 2 or top 3 if possible, and win a trophy. Solskjaer knows, I said, didn't I, Solskjaer knows that he's got to exceed his expectations. We need to win a trophy because we haven't won out yet in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. And I've already gone through with you what Ole needs to do to avoid getting sacked, and that's exceed these expectations. Obviously, we need to see players improving. And I think Solskjaer's also got to improve his decision making, because in a lot of his games at Manchester United, he has been very tactically naive, hasn't he? But I have taken positives from his tenure. Not all of it's negative, obviously. I credit for what he did last season, because last season, which was his first full season, he did exceed most of his expectations. He obviously got us qualification for the Champions League. We also finished third, which is second highest we've finished since the Ferguson era, and we also progressed to 3 semi-finals. And don't forget, the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season, and Solskjaer at that point was close to getting sacked, and now is in the same situation, isn't he? Solskjaer's also promoted the youth well. The young players have been given their opportunities. He's also made some good signings since he's come in. I think Solskjaer must have brought around 10 senior players, something like that, now into the club. He's also brought a few academy players in. I think Solskjaer spent over £200 million since he became Manchester United manager. He's enjoyed 4 transfer windows. In his first transfer window, didn't recommend anyone in, but in the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. January, he brought Bruno Fernandes and he brought Igalo on loan. And in this year's summer transfer window, brought Donny van der Beek in, Edison Cavani, Alex Telles, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Traore. Amad Traore will be joining the football club in January. We've also seen a lot of players leave since Solskjaer got recommended into the club as well. We've also had some good periods under him. Went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions. Went on a 14-game unbeaten run in the Premier League. And we also did well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. So they are the positives you can take. It'll only cost Manchester United around £4 million to sack Solskjaer. That's totally contrast to the £18 million that we paid to get rid of Jose Mourinho. And Solskjaer has got just under 2 years left on his current contract at the club. But as you all know, Mauricio Pochettino is the favourite to replace Solskjaer at Manchester United. Now, obviously, there was reports coming out last week saying that Manchester United have been in contact with Mauricio Pochettino's representatives. Pochettino, I think, is interested in coming to manage Manchester United. It also does mention that Man City, Real Madrid have been in for him before. And I think at one point Newcastle inquired about getting Mauricio Pochettino in. Mauricio Pochettino has been managerless now for like a year. But I think he's a better manager than Solskjaer, like I've said to you before. Well proven in the Premier League is Pochettino. Dealt with top players. My only element of concern about him, he has not won anything in terms of silverware. Like I mentioned, he did enjoy 5.5 years with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. There was. But last year, he guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final, didn't he? Don't forget. He must have spent over £200 million during his 5.5 years with Tottenham as well. He did bring some good players in, did Pochettino. Before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton, enjoyed a short tenure there, but he still guided Southampton to their highest ever finish. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. So far, he's managed 3 clubs in his managerial career. If we do recommend Pochettino win, he will be our fifth permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. But a lot of United fans don't think how it will change if we recommend Pochettino in, because not all of the blame stems from Solsjaer. Some of the blame stems from him for the inconsistency and all of that, but I think a lot of the blame stems from the board. It really, really does, because Woodward and the Glazers, quite frankly, did not back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough during that summer transfer window. I just think the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired have not been backed enough by the board. But our recruitment policy's been poor for several years. The Glazers are the biggest culprits, because they should have never recommended Woodward in, and they should have never recommended Matt Judge in. You know what I mean? So I just think we've got to get Woodward and the Glazers and that out of the football club. I think also too, Manchester United need to get a director of football in. That's something else we are missing, It's one of the structural changes that we need at the football club is a director of football. Now, we've been in the process of trying to get a director of football since the Jose Mourinho era, and Woodward has said quite a few times that I'd like a director of football to come in to Manchester United. There's been quite a few former Manchester United players linked with that role. Don't forget Darren Fletcher was linked with it, Rio Ferdinand was linked with it, Patrice Evra was linked with it. I think at one point Darren Fletcher was linked with it. And yeah, but we need to get someone in who knows the culture of the club and someone who's obviously got that experience, So that's what Manchester United have got to do. I think definitely players are to blame as well for our inconsistency, because I think there's players that are not good enough to represent Manchester United, and I'd still believe that these are some deadwood in the squad. You know what I mean? So there you go. We have not won the Premier League since 2013. The last time we won it was in Sir Alex Ferguson's last season. We are the most successful team in Premier League history because we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues. And as it stands at the moment, I think we are at least 3 to 4 years off from winning the Premier League title. At least. But in the last 7 years, Manchester United have been playing catch-up, obviously. We're not known as a sacking football club, but we've actually sacked 3 managers since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And we obviously sacked David Moyes. He enjoyed, 8 or 9 months at the club. We finished 7th under his guidance. Moyes should have never been appointed in there. We sacked Louis van Gaal. He enjoyed 2 years at the club. He did win 2 trophies. He did win the FA Cup. And Jose Mourinho was sacked him after 2.5 years, despite him winning the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. Well, also the Community Shield, if you want to count that. But we have not dominated English football since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And like I've said time and time again, it's going to be hard for any manager at Man United or any manager in general to replicate Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy. You know what I mean? Obviously, Newcastle on Saturday. It's a game Manchester United must win. It's going to be interesting to see how Solsjaer lines up against Newcastle, isn't it? Edison Cavani isn't going to be available because I don't think he's fit, Edison Cavani, so he won't be making his debut in that game. Alex Telles, I presume he'll be making his debut on Saturday. I think there's going to be a change of formation, like I mentioned on my video yesterday of how Man United could line up. Because Solsjaer, since he got appointed in as Man United manager, he's been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation a lot, but it doesn't seem to suit our standards, and it hasn't worked out so far this season. I think he's going to go with probably 3 at the back against Newcastle, you know. Maybe possibly could go with a 4-3-3, couldn't he? But Newcastle is a must-win game for Manchester United, you know. I think we've also made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent. I mentioned that on one of my recent videos. Like I said, made a mistake by bringing Woodward in and Matt Judge in. We definitely made a mistake by giving Solsjaer the job permanently, but we give Solsjaer the job permanently of what reflects on what he did when he was temporary. Of course, you know, there's some players we're giving contracts to who we shouldn't have done. I think we made a mistake getting rid of Herrera and Lukaku. Obviously, you know, Ferguson made a mistake by appointing David Moyes in when he retired. So, yeah, the club have made mistakes. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.